It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Greensboro Grasshoppers president and GM, Donald Moore. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How about you, Brandon? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew you wanted to become the GM and president of the baseball team?
Well, I grew up as a huge sports fan. I actually in high school played 4 sports: football, basketball, baseball, and played on the golf team. And, always loved sports. And even after high school, always enjoyed recreationally playing as many of those sports as I could for as long as I could. So to get an opportunity to get into sports, specifically baseball, was something that I thought would be not only a perfect fit, but something that I would really enjoy doing. And it's been a great run. I'm in my 21st year now, and here we are.
Did you always worked with the Greensboro Grasshoppers, or did you go anywhere else?
No, actually, and I'm a native. I grew up in Greensboro and lived here all my life. And the team ownership group that I'm a part of now bought this team back in 1999 and approached me in early in 2001 to get involved here. So this is the one and only, or should I say first and only team that I've ever worked for.
What is the day in the life of a minor league GM?
Well, it depends on what time of year you're talking about, but by and large, it's almost like it's 2 jobs. From the end of the season, which historically has been around Labor Day, it's going to be a little later here, but from the end of the season to the beginning of the season, so the fall and winter, and then into the early spring, it's pretty much a 5 days a week office kind of job where you're working on getting ready for the next season. You're working on sales, all your promotions, things you're going to, do and come up with and what have you. And that's when you sort of build your foundation or set the standard for what kind of season you're going to have the next year. Obviously, the more season tickets you sell and the more sponsors you have and all that, typically you're going to add up into, higher and better attendance. So, and then once the season starts, you're juggling all the balls of on game days of continuing to oversee and operate your office, but also, having games in some cases, 6 days in a row. And this year, actually, we have 6 game homestands and then an off day and 6 more games. And we got a couple of those homestands. So 12 games in 13 days. We've got a few of those. So it's a lot of games. It's a lot of hours, a lot of nights, and a lot of weekends. But it's fun to do.
What was it like to prepare for this upcoming season after last season getting cut?
Well, it's been very difficult. First of all, from a business standpoint, all of us are in the same boat. We, by and large, have not had any significant revenues come in over 20 months. So, sneaking up on 2 years. And last year, the pandemic hit about 3 weeks before the season was supposed to start. So we had everything sold, and in a lot of cases, people had paid us. So last year, we either had to refund folks or a lot of folks said, hey, you can roll my money into next year, which, helped us. But at the same time, come this year now, we've already gotten that money, so we're not getting paid for that. So it's got some lingering financial effects that are very challenging to make ends meet.
What was the process of relocating to, of course, the First National Bank field?
Well, this is when we moved here back in when I started in Greensboro with the team, we were in War Memorial Stadium, which at the time was the oldest full season minor league stadium in America. And we were over there up through 2004. And then we moved here in 2005. So I've been in the same facility since 2005, but we've had through a couple of bank mergers and acquisitions and what have you, field name has changed a few times, but it's been First National Bank Field now for about the last 5 years. So but moving into a new ballpark has its own set of challenges, particularly when our team actually we're the owners of the stadium. The city of Greensboro does not have a nickel invested in this, and so when we built it, it was kind of like building your own house on steroids, so to speak. But because we were very involved in the construction process.
Can you talk about that process of being privately owned versus some teams that are like city owned?
Well, I can. I tell you, on the one hand, it has its advantages, and then on the other hand, it has its disadvantages. But the advantages are when you need to do something, want to do something, it's simply a matter of making sure you can afford to do it, and because you're the one that's going to be paying for it. And over the years, we've done several expansions here, and which have turned out to be really good things. But at the same time, that was always on our neck. We also, are property tax payers, and so there's, and we pay all the utilities. We have a mortgage payment every month. Everything's on our shoulders. So most cities who obviously own the stadiums typically will lease the facility to a team, and the team doesn't have quite the financial responsibilities that, like in our case, that we do.
Can you talk about being a founding member of the North Carolina Association for for professional baseball teams?
Right. Yeah. I think we formed that. It's been a long time now, back in about 2014. But there's 10 minor league teams in North Carolina. North Carolina is very fortunate to have as many minor league teams as we do. And prior to 2014, we had no representation in Raleigh whatsoever from a legislative standpoint. And I believe it was about 2013, the legislature voted to totally revamp the ticket tax that we have to pay to the state. And pretty much it went from 3% to 6.75%. So it was a huge increase. And had we had a lobbyist or someone kind of looking out for our interest in Raleigh at that time, we potentially could have, maybe done something about that. But either way, we decided then that we needed a lobbyist in Raleigh that, could protect our industry, because on the one hand, there's 10 of us, which is a lot compared to a lot of states. But on the other hand, it is only 10 companies that, but we have someone in Raleigh that stays in touch with not only the legislative branch of the government, but the governor's office as well, and keeps us abreast of any potential changes that might be coming or any legislation that would affect us either positively or negatively. So that's been a great move for us, and one we wish we had had maybe a year or two sooner. What
are some traditions that the Grasshoppers have?
Well, we've got a lot. We shoot a lot of fireworks shows, which, I know minor league teams shoot fireworks, but historically we've shot fireworks shows as many as 25 or so a year. Fridays, Saturdays, special occasions. With the pandemic hitting last year and the belt buckle being a little tighter this year, we're shooting fireworks after every Saturday game, and then a few Friday night games along the way as well. But in addition to that, I started back in 2005. We started with, it was 2006, excuse me, having a dog involved with us as a bat dog. And that has grown and it was immensely popular. And over the years, we've had 3 different dogs that have worked here. And one of them, the original one, was Miss Babe Ruth. And Miss Babe would carry balls to the umpire in a bucket. She'd fetch bats a couple times a game for the home team, be the bat girl. And then after the game, she'd run the bases. And the bucket she actually used, she worked 640 some consecutive games. The bucket she used actually is in the Baseball Hall of Fame up in Cooperstown. So that's something that's been, just really popular here in Greensboro.
That's pretty amazing. What is a typical game day like before COVID and now during COVID?
Well, a typical game day is, you get in, your staff in the morning, and you have a meeting. You talk about what's going on in that particular game. Like I say, and like if you go to minor league baseball, there's teams have a lot of promotions. So you have a meeting and talk about what's going on that particular night and who's handling what kinds of things. You talk about your pre-sale, how many tickets you've sold, so you have an idea as far as what to anticipate, be it a big crowd or a smaller crowd or what have you. And then you go about your business. The next thing you know, it's time to open the gates and play baseball. Post-COVID, I don't know yet. Our first game is tomorrow, and I know that we have a whole lot of protocols and things going on that we never, 15 months ago, things that we didn't even know existed. Things like social distancing and face masks and all these kinds of things. So we're going to see, but we're ready for that, and we'll see how it plays out. But we're under a 30% attendance restriction in the due to 6 social distancing and all. So it's going to be different, but hopefully things change and change sooner than later, so we kind of get back to normal.
What is the process of being a high A in minor league baseball?
Well, we moved, this past year, Major League Baseball did a lot of restructuring to minor league and contracted a lot of teams and adjusted a lot of teams as to what classification they play at. Heretofore, we had always been, there's 2 levels of A. We had always been at low A, and now we have moved to high A. The only difference really by and large is low A historically was always usually the first full season, and the first time that these young men would play like 140 game season. And then high A, they're typically just a year older, they move up. So this is our first year in high A. We're excited about that, but I think the one thing that it's brought us that we're most excited about is it reunites us with Winston-Salem in the same league. Winston-Salem and Greensboro are only 30 miles apart. So it puts us in the same league for the first time since 1968. And I think we'll have some rivalry and all that we've really never had before. So we're very excited about that.
Who are some of the teams that you will play this year?
Well, we primarily there's 2 divisions in our league, the North Division and the South Division, and the bulk of our games are against teams in the Southern Division, which includes Greensboro, Winston-Salem, Hickory, Asheville, Greenville, South Carolina, Rome, Georgia, and Bowling Green, Kentucky. So the bulk of our games played against those teams. At the same time, we have 5 teams in the Northern Division that we play all but one of those this year, at least one series, either at their place or at our place. We have Aberdeen, Maryland, Wilmington, Delaware, Lakewood, New Jersey, Hudson Valley, New York, and Brooklyn, New York. So it's a big league, and fortunately, we're spending most of our time closer geographically to Greensboro.
What is it like to be affiliated in the MLB with the Pittsburgh Pirates?
Well, this is our second full season with Pittsburgh. Should have been our third, but of course last year we didn't play. But we were with them for 16 years prior to that, and we moved to Pittsburgh for the 2009 season. It's been a great partnership so far. Pittsburgh at the major league level has undergone quite a few changes from when we first started. But at the same time, everyone that we've met and worked with that has come in has been a class act and great to work with. And this year, I think that'll hold true. Our coaching staff and the young men that are here to play, all seem like real quality people, and so we're looking forward to working with them.
Can you talk about the process of going through name changing as the Greensboro Bats to now the Greensboro Grasshoppers?
Well, we made that change back in the fall of 2004, and that's when we were leaving the old War Memorial Stadium and moving over here to our new facility. So, we felt like when you leave one place, you should leave that behind, and it's a perfect opportunity to rebrand yourself and to have a new name and a new tradition and everything that goes with that. So that's what we did back in 2004. We chose the name Grasshoppers, not for any particular reason, for a multitude of reasons, really. But most importantly, grasshoppers obviously are green, and being in Greensboro, believe it or not, green had not been part of the color scheme of a Greensboro team for almost 30 years. So that was one of the first changes we made. Our colors are green and orange, and the colors have worked out great. The nickname, I think people love the nickname, and it gave us an opportunity to sell a whole lot of merchandise as well.
What was it like playing in the World War Memorial Stadium in 2004?
Well, in 2004, I think knowing that something newer and bigger and better and nicer was around the corner, it was it was okay. But I mean, that was an old facility built in 1926. Just did not have the infrastructure and the amenities to be able to really entertain people the way you'd like to. I mean, there was all kinds of problems. It seemed like on a nightly basis, be it with plumbing or electrical, or there was one kitchen in the whole place that was probably half the size of the office I'm sitting in right now. So it presented all kinds of operational challenges, not only for us as a staff, but more importantly for the people that were coming in to go to the game. So moving to a brand new state-of-the-art facility was a wonderful thing, and I mean, our revenues immediately more than tripled, and we've been on a great run ever since, up until unfortunately the pandemic crushed us all about a year ago.
What advice would you give upcoming future general managers and presidents looking to start their own sports team?
Well, this job is, I think, and I learned very early, I think it's a job that has a lot of highs and a lot of lows, and I think you should never get too excited about the highs and too down about the lows, because things tend to change quickly. You might have 8 tonight and you're on top of the world and you say this is the greatest thing ever, and then the next 2 days you have hardly anybody there. I mean, it's a roller coaster, no different than life in most industries, and just perseverance, hard work, and kind of rolling with the punches, and accepting what you have, and not getting, like I say, too down or too up, and just rolling with the flow.
Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with the Greensboro Grasshoppers?
I'm sorry, ask that again.
Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with the Greensboro Grasshoppers?
On social media, I mean, we broadcast our games. Actually, they're streamed via the internet, all of our games, by going to www.gsohoppers.com. We are, as an organization, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, most of the social media mediums, and we're easy. And we're always looking for more followers and folks that have an interest in coming to see our games and support us.
Thank you again, Donald Moore, for your interview, and best of luck in this upcoming season with the Greensboro Grasshoppers.
Hey, thanks a lot, Brandon, and hope you come see us sometime too.
Will do. Thank you again for listening. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Donald, for your interview, and best of luck.
Thanks a lot.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.